Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hot Seat with Penzola. We are definitely in season 3, and we are excited about the topics that we're doing in season 3. This is the show that is deconstructing societal norms. We are challenging the status quo, and we're creating new norms for as a society. Today, I am actually talking to Cathy Pirima, and we're talking about co-parenting after a divorce. So in season 2, I had a discussion with one of my male guests, and we were talking about a divorce and how he introduced, his kids to his new lady. And today we're talking to Cathy as a woman, and she's going to share with us how does she navigate the co-parenting with her ex-husband. Thank you so much for joining Hot Seat with Penzola, Cathy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Penny, for having me.
Yeah. Let's talk about this co-parenting thing. I guess because we being divorced is a normal, it's very normal. It's part of life. And no couple gets married to get divorced. True. And when it does happen, life has to go on. The show has to go on. There are kids that are involved. When and now you have these the beautiful gift that you guys have both you need to look after in a separate situation. Talk to me about that. Let's start talking about the divorce. When did you divorce, and how did you navigate that process?
My divorce went through in September 2017.
Okay.
I can still remember the day.
Yeah. That's quite a while back though, right?
It's 4 years.
It is 4 years.
It's 4 years, and that's after 17 years of marriage.
Wow.
And
17.
17. Like
okay.
After 17 years of marriage, and I would say 20 years of a relationship.
Yeah.
Because my son, I've got 3 kids from
the marriage.
Yeah. That's my son who's turning 24. I've got a 19-year-old. Then my daughter who's turning 15.
Wow.
So we've got 3 beautiful kids in this marriage.
Yeah.
And 2017, it was like, we tried. We did our best, and it's not working out.
Yeah.
Instead of working out, maybe omunye akula or another one is this.
Rather, instead of being unhappy in general,
let's just go our separate ways.
Yes,
and honestly, it sounds good now to say let's go our separate ways.
When you're going through it, that's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And as much as maybe both of you might feel like it's not working out, but maybe somebody wants it to still work. But you come to a point where you say, you know what, it's not working out. Let's go our separate ways. But the most important thing I think about my ex and I is that we had to find a way to respect each other.
Right.
And to respect the decision that was there.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that I want to make clear is that we don't all go through our stages at the same time.
Yeah.
You find out that Cathy, by the time the divorce happened, she had made peace with the fact that he doesn't love me, or I don't love him, or it's not working out. But for him, it might have been, maybe we can work out things or whatever. And it might be vice versa. Maybe the lady's holding.
Yeah.
But once you realize that it's not working, you have to find a way to say that I might still love this man, but I have to let go. I might still love this woman, but I have to let go.
Yeah.
And that was the case with us, where we came to a point to say, it's not working.
Not working out.
And what do we do from there?
Right.
There are kids already. Remember, it's not just the two of you.
Yes.
There are extended families. There are.
There's all these relationships that are linked to this relationship. And I want to move quickly to that, because I don't want to talk about the divorce.
Yes.
It's done. Let's moving on. Today's topic is about the co-parenting between you and your ex-husband. Now, but I want to start. You must have had couple friends, right?
True.
So 17 years of being together as a couple. So how did you navigate that? Like, now that it's official, it's lodged, you are single officially. Do you just switch off the friendships with the couples? What happens?
The thing is that with our divorce, I think it came as a shock to our friends, because it was not something like this one is bad-mouthing this one is bad-mouthing this one.
Yeah.
But it was a matter of realizing to say you don't choose sides.
Right.
You don't choose sides. You're not his friend all of a sudden, my friend. And we had matured friends who understood that it is happening, but you are still our friends. So, but I think between the two of you in this silence, you sort of like know that we can't be in the same space.
So you start avoiding some,
exactly.
Okay.
And all of those things.
Yeah.
And when you've got friends that are mature, they will not put you in a position where they will call your ex and call you, and then now you are sitting there, because some people have moved on.
Yeah.
So we were very fortunate in that light that we never had to find ourselves
to be put in that spot.
Yeah. Obviously, the spot where you get put is when you with your in-laws, because according to them, ke Basotho.
Yeah. Why bon?
Yeah, it's one of those.
Why
where
bon?
the aunties are like, hey, you
Hey,
can divorce us
rekhonyetsi.
for
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same token, I had to come to that space to know that even though I'm in the same space with him,
Yeah.
I shouldn't make him uncomfortable
Uncomfortable because yes,
and
yeah.
all of that. But I get there, I do what I need to do and
Yeah,
disappear.
yeah.
But the one thing that my kids knew is that these are their aunties, these are their grannies, these are
'Cause they are.
and their cousins.
They are,
So
yes.
it was one of those that there was no awkward moment where
Yeah.
you get there, you do a performance. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate his side of the family.
And when you say
as well.
performance,
like
which performance?
What
that
is
it was-
side you grow
yeah.
now when you get there, maybe you the new lady,
Yes.
and the next thing you wanna be seen, you wanna be do that. There
Yeah.
was no such a thing.
Wow.
There was no such a thing that even though that I knew that there was a lady in his life.
Yes.
And I would find out after I was gone, and
Yeah.
there was no
drama.
There was no drama.
Yes.
And what I always tell people is that the other lady is not your issue. Whether she was there during your time or after your time, she's not your problem.
Your journey with your ex
journey
is done.
with your ex. Even if she came while the journey was still going on,
Yes.
she is not my problem.
Yeah.
The one that I had vows with is this guy.
Yeah.
And I deal with this guy. I don't deal with the other lady.
Wow.
She's got absolutely nothing to do with me. I've got absolutely nothing to do with her. And that's one thing that I had to talk to my kids about, that
Yeah.
your daddy will have a new person in their life.
Cathy, I have to stop you there because you must be one of the few ladies, or because you hear a lot of stories around women who are exes that refuse to let go, but also that are becoming a problem to the new partners. And I really admire your wisdom and your maturity around the subject. What you had with him is over.
Exactly.
Therefore, you should not fight the new partner. Now, I want to take it back to the co-parenting. Was that enforced? I mean, obviously, a divorce is a legal process.
Yes.
Now, in terms of when you see the kids, how you maintain the kids, I'm always hearing stories and of battles. How was that process for you? How did the legal process influence how things are today?
Honestly, with us, it was dealt with by lawyers.
Okay.
He had his lawyers, I had my lawyers.
Okay.
And obviously, there's the divorce decree and
Yes.
the settlement agreement.
Correct.
So on the settlement
So there was a
agreement,
clear settlement
there was a clear
agreement.
settlement agreement,
Correct.
and to say this is your portion, this is your portion, and everything. And when do you see the kids? How they would say any other weekend,
Yeah.
and holidays
Yes.
and birthdays and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So obviously, at the beginning, it was enforced by the law to say this
Right.
is how things are done, because it has to be very clear.
Yeah.
But with time, then the two of you starts having some sort of a relationship
Yeah.
in an arrangement
Yeah.
where to say, you know what, I know I'm supposed to have them this weekend, but I gotta go away. Are you cool with that? Like, I'm cool. The
Yeah.
kids can stay with me.
Yes.
So you start having that kind of agreement, and not every time it's a battle. Like, you must come and pick up your kids. Why are you not picking them up? Or if you come pick up, no, I've decided. So it will be something like, if I know that I've got plans, like maybe go on my side of the family, there's an event, and I know it's his weekend. I pick up a phone. I'm like, dude, listen, I know this is your weekend, but we are having a family gathering.
So you would like the kids to come
Can I
with?
please have the kids over for that weekend? And then maybe you can have them 2 consecutive weekends, or you can do. And it's like, cool, it's fine. So it becomes a matter of, when it comes to co-parenting, as much as there is a divorce settlement in place, communication plays an important role. Because remember, Penny, it is no longer about me and him. It's about these 3 kids.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to behave in a certain manner, the kids are going to behave in a certain manner. Remember, they spend most of their time with me.
Yeah.
So how I behave and what I say in front of them, it influences how they behave when they get to the other side.
Right.
So, and I think I would say to the ladies that we play an important role here. As much as whether the man is maintaining the child or is not maintaining the child, you are still the biggest influence when it comes to your child.
Please say that again.
You are the biggest influence when it comes to your child. Because remember, my ex will have Penny in his life. How my treats are going to treat Penny, it comes from me. And I had this conversation with my kids to say, listen, whoever comes into your father's life deserves respect. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm not asking you to call him mommy, to call
Yeah.
him mommy or to
Yes,
call him anything.
yeah, but
I taught you respect. You go into his space, you go into her space and give her the respect that she deserves.
How did that land with the kids? I mean, you said you've got a 19-year-old. Is it a 19?
Yeah,
and then there's a 15.
Then my son,
Your son,
the 23
the 23-year-old. I mean, these are adults, sort of,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
How did that land?
Fortunately, I think from the beginning, my kids and I have always been very open with each other, in terms of teasing. I think my middle one was the one who was struggling because she was very close to daddy. She's very close to daddy.
Yeah.
With my son, it was like, cool, and with him, he didn't have to find himself in the midst of all of this because remember, he was already of age. So
Exactly,
he doesn't have to visit, he doesn't have to do. But with the two, the young one, she was okay. She was only like 10 or whatever. And the young ones, mommy, and all of that. So with my middle one, it was a bit of a challenge where I think she was struggling to see what's going on. Like,
was she struggling with the divorce itself, or was she struggling with, daddy having moved on and there's another woman?
I think she was not struggling with she wanted answers of what happened. Remember, my son, I had him out of wedlock.
Okay.
Even though the daddy is the daddy.
Yes.
I had him out of wedlock. So he got to spend time being with mommy alone
for a while
years.
before you got married, yes.
Now my middle one was born into
in the marriage. Yes.
And this is the one that daddy was there to cut the umbilical cord. Wow. Daddy was there to do whatever. So their bond was very, very, very close. And
she got used to seeing him every day, and now he's not there every day.
And she didn't know the life without daddy. Remember, that's all she knew. This is the life with daddy in it. And when the sister came, remember, my kids, fun enough, it's not like I planned them.
Yeah.
They are 4.5 to 5 apart from each other.
From each other, yeah.
You see, so this is what you have known. This is the life that you've known. And according to her, it was like, but this is my mommy. Why are you no longer with my mommy? And when he sees dad with another woman,
it's
to
difficult,
her it was like, oh, probably you are the cause why my mom and dad are no longer together.
Yes.
And it is normal for kids to think like that, to say, oh, so you are here.
You are the reason.
You are the reason. And like, and now there was a bit of, between him and daddy, there was no longer that
closeness.
I trusted you. It was that kind of a thing.
How could you do this to me?
So when I found out that there was some altercation between him and the daddy, because the daddy was like, you are the child, you do not understand, and she was like, I'm 16.
I understand.
Yeah. So it was like
explain
that
to me.
Oh, don't treat me like a child.
Yeah.
I'm 16, I understand. Then I got to hear about it. So it was a matter of saying, baby girl, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't fight my battles. You are not there to fight my battles. This is your daddy. He still deserves your respect. Whoever is in your daddy's life, whether they were there before or thereafter, it doesn't matter. You're going to go and respect that woman.
Wow.
And if I find out that you're disrespecting that woman, you'll have me to deal with.
Sure.
I was very clear with all three of them that disrespect is something that we're not going to entertain. And after doing that, I think it helped her as well to understand that actually
my mother's
okay.
Is okay. Yeah, she's fine.
Mommy is fine because she thought, no, mama
is
fine.
Yeah.
And then when she realized that, then things were different. And I told them, listen, the only time I will get involved is when your life is in danger. And I don't think your father will put you through that. You've got challenges.
He will not bring someone that will be dangerous.
Yeah.
Intentionally, that is, of course.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
I say you've got challenges, you talk to your dad. Start having your own relationship with your dad of having a conversation.
And leave me out of it.
I don't want to know what happened over the weekend. No, that's none of my business.
Now, Cathy, tell me where this wisdom comes from. This is not normal. And hence I'm saying, So I hear a lot and I read a lot and I watch a lot of these co-parenting. It's difficult. There's even reality shows that are around maintenance and and co-parenting that's not working out. Where does this wisdom of removing yourself from this equation and saying it's about the kids and because it takes a special kind of person to think that way?
Honestly, Penny, when I was going through my divorce, I was working for 3 men, like they were the directors of the company. And when this whole thing happened, it was there. I started engaging with men more than engaging with women. To say, this is what I'm about to go through and this is what is happening. Or maybe when he will behave in a certain manner. I wouldn't go to Penny because we are emotional beings. I would go to he was very old. He was like 60. I would go and say, dude, this is what is happening. And he said to me, Cathy, for the mere fact that you are here, that means there's no you guys anymore.
Yeah.
There's no us. You and him are.
There's no, it's done.
It's done.
It's done.
He says, whatever you do, make sure that it's about the kids.
And not about
you. And I think that was the wisest thing that he said to me, because every time I wanted to make decisions, every time there'll be a certain behavior,
you called yourself to order.
It's about the kids. It's not about you. And the minute we start putting our kids first, when it comes to co-parenting, I think it will become easy. Whether he's paying maintenance.
Because that maintenance is the biggest thing. You know, I hear a lot of women say he does not have the right to see the kids because he's not paying maintenance.
No,
how does that play?
He does. He's the dad. Like, why are you using money? Why are you using material things to deprive your kids?
He's not helping me raise this child, so why must he see the child?
Whether he's helping you or not, but if he says, I want to be present in the child's life, I believe that he deserves to be there. Maintenance or no maintenance. He wants to be there. Unless if he tells you that I don't want to be part of this child's life, then you don't force it to happen. But if he says to you, I want to be part of my daughter's life, my son's life and everything.
But how do you then address the money issue? Because as much as you don't want to make it about money, there is a requirement for money to be paid so that we raise this being, you know.
You need to be smart about it. What do I mean you need to be smart
Yes,
about it?
yes, please.
At the beginning, I knew that there was still a little bit of resentment, of bitterness and everything.
From your side?
Not from my side.
From both.
From both.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that it's still an uncomfortable situation. So at the beginning, the money for maintenance was equivalent, in my case, I'm just saying, it was equivalent to certain things that were supposed to happen.
Right.
So I knew him putting money in my account, it would look like I'm giving this woman money. So I was like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Because this and this and this needs to be taken care of. Can you please take care of those things? Don't put any money
directly.
Pay directly.
Yeah.
If it's school fees, pay directly to the school.
Yeah.
If it's clothing, take them and go
buy the
shopping
clothes.
with them.
Yeah.
If they need to get lunch stuff, when they come to you, you buy the lunch stuff, you bring it. So there was no exchange of money that was coming to me. So it was like money, the maintenance is equivalent to this. So dude, take care of A, B, C, D.
So maybe that does help a little bit, as opposed to asking the guy to give you the money directly. Yeah.
And it became so painless. Because at the end of the month, I didn't have to wait for a barking.
And then I'm
going to call somebody.
Yeah.
And it was, even during when it was in the process of a divorce, I remember there was a time where he promised to do something. And I said, let's get something straight. You are not going to get calls from me asking you for money. I'm not going to send you SMSs. I'm not going to send you WhatsApps.
Yes.
You know your responsibilities. You are their dad.
Yeah.
You were staying with us. You were doing those things.
So you know how much those things cost.
You know how much those things cost.
Yeah.
So I get on one listing and all of that. No. And honestly speaking, I'm not even going to... my ex has always been responsible when it comes to his kids. You know, even when we were staying with him, I don't remember buying nappies. I don't remember buying baby food and everything.
Yes.
I carried them. He continued with making sure that they are well taken care of. And it's something that I wanted to go on. And honestly, he's been doing that when it comes to the medical aid, when it comes to that. If there's something that I see is not going right, I call, dude, can we meet? And we have a meeting. And we talk like
And where do you have this meeting? Do you have this meeting in a setting where he comes to the house, or do you guys go to a central place, or do
it
you
depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes he comes from work, I come from work. So we'll say, okay, let's meet at a restaurant or something.
Okay.
But if he's around, he's like, okay, dude, no.
I'll pass by.
Please come to the house, and then we talk about it.
Okay.
Especially if we're going to talk about something that after discussing it, then the kids have to be present.
Yeah.
Because what we must avoid in a divorce is to treat our children as if they are outsiders in this whole thing. Remember, there's a divorce.
Right.
And the minute we start having the conversation with the two of us that involves them and
they
not
must also be
include them,
involved.
they must also be involved. So these are human beings that are part of this whole... Now you are an organization.
Pila
le organization.
You are shareholders of this organization.
But now you must make sure that your employees know
what you're discussing.
So that's how we
I like that analogy.
That's we're treating our whole thing is that if I'm going to discuss something that involves, like now my daughter is at UP.
Yes.
So it's a matter of how do we navigate this thing? Because now there is varsity.
Yes.
And she had a conversation with Daddy to say, Daddy, I want to go to UP. I want to do this. After having a conversation with Daddy, I think they agreed to say, Daddy was like, I will take care of everything. According to our decree, we're supposed to go 50-50.
But then Daddy has decided,
Daddy
I'll
said,
take
no, I will pay for your varsity fees.
Wow.
So what happened is that now there were forms that needed to be signed, and Daddy was like, you know what, in these forms, they need to sign this and all of that. So because as much as we are divorced, we are both parents,
both
it was
of
like,
you must
okay,
sign.
no problem. And he was like, okay, Catherine, I will take care of this. And I was like, okay, now that you're taking care of that, I think I will take a certain portion and take care of it. So it's not like the divorce decree and the settlement is just a guideline.
It's a governance document which is legally binding, which in my opinion it needs to be there.
Exactly.
To control, to create a framework.
Exactly. Because
as human beings, if we don't have a framework, things can go,
So we had that. So when it was that, the two of us had a conversation. I signed certain papers, together. And then it was like, Jem, now this is the situation. You will be going to UP. I'm not getting involved when it comes to how you navigate things with your dad. I'm not getting involved because now this is an adult. She's 19.
Is adult.
Now she can talk to Daddy and all of
directly.
that. Directly. And if he finds challenges, he will come to me and say, you know what, I know I was supposed to do this. Can you jump in? So we are at that level where we are able to say, this is how things are happening. Can we do things that
I mean, it sounds great. It sounds like a perfect and ideal situation for co-parents, right? And I must ask, the rules, the decree, the decisions, they are quite easy when you use an adult mind, right? Which I commend you for doing that and acknowledging that. How did you deal with the feelings though? Because whilst you divorced with the person, you don't immediately stop loving them and say, okay, I'm switching off this plug now. I will no longer love this person. How do you navigate the feelings, where he now has a new person, as a result, because you divorced does not mean that there were no good times. There were great times that you might still miss.
Yes.
How do you navigate that so that you remove yourself? Because, and I ask this because a lot of women I chat to, but I still love him, but I still, yeah, sure. But how did you navigate that? The feelings that you still had for him, if you had any?
I think in my case, Penny, I think I was long gone from my marriage
before it actually was
before
gone.
It actually happened.
Yeah.
There were so many things that were happening, and there were underlying challenges.
All right.
Which were there, and it's something that I think I want to tell women. Sometimes we ignore the red flags even before we get married. We choose to ignore red flags and think, no, it will work out. Or
as soon as I sign the marriage certificate, you stop the behavior.
Will stop. Not even the behavior. When you saw certain things that you were not happy with at the beginning, and you were like, oh man, I can work around this. But you realize, I cannot work around those things. And what happened is that I think after my divorce, it hit me one Saturday when the first weekend when my daughters had to go and visit him. Yo, Aisha. It hit me hard. And the weather was not helping. It was a gloomy, rainy, sad
blankety weather.
Yeah. And I sat there, the house was quiet.
Cold.
There was nobody.
The kids were gone.
The kids were gone. And that's when reality
And they were with him.
They were with him. That's when reality hits. Sorry, girl.
You are
divorced. Born
again.
Who fedile.
Yo.
And I cried my heart out. I cried. That day I cried. I cried for my marriage.
Who fedile?
I truly missed him. Yes. I missed my kids. I missed my life with him.
You missed
because that's all I knew. Remember, I was 19 when I fell pregnant. 20, I had my son. 22, I got married. All I knew was just to be a mom and be a wife.
Yeah.
I didn't know this thing of being a girl. I don't know what is it like to be a girl. I don't know what is it like going out and go and.
But you get a chance now. You're single. You get a chance to be out. Well, with COVID, I'm not sure how
I've realized that them John is a pandemic.
No, it's a pandemic.
It's a pandemic.
Hey.
Like I don't know, people are like, you know, I feel like a baby, like who is walking, who's learning how to walk, because already DM, hi.
Mara ukila jola after divorce.
No,
Are you jola?
I
You didn't
haven't.
jola.
You go on dates and how and like
what's been happening?
What's been happening? What happened during that time when I was married? What has happened from there? And
the dating world has changed.
The dating world has changed. In my days, a guy will pick you up. In these days, let's meet up. Like, okay,
drive yourself, girl. Bring your own credit card too.
Like, dude, this is my petrol. You know? You know, but you get to realize that things have changed so much that you as well, you need to
find
adapt
yourself,
and you need to find yourself. And like I say, I mean, you know, I'm comfortable with where I am right now, and which is a very dangerous space because remember, like I said to you, I was 20 when I had my son. Then 22, I get married. All I do is marry.
Mara ula jola wena before nyan. Pila. It sounds like you just never jolad. You jolad and you got married.
You know, it's not like I didn't. I was. The thing is that my life started very early.
Yeah.
At the age of 17, I was working already. I was working for a bank at 17.
Wow! Oh my God!
So I was earning a salary. So you can imagine everything of mine started at a very
it started
stage.
quite early for you. It started quite early
and
for you.
And you being at that stage, another challenge was that at the age of 14, I found myself staying by myself.
Wow!
Because mommy took me to boarding school.
So that independence,
after strike, now you find yourself in Nako Rumun. So I became very independent at a very young age and responsible. Where it was like, even when the guys approaches me, I already have that thing. You know what? Don't mess with me.
Yes.
So everything of mine started at a very young age. So it was one of those things that you are responsible at a very young age. Mommy is a nurse. You're taking care of your brother who is like a year younger than you, but you like the bigger sister and everything. So that being responsible and being very cautious and everything, that's why, you know, by being too extra cautious, you find yourself, okay, I'm doing this for the first time and the next time, boom, it's done with you. So it was one of those that you find yourself that you've been very responsible. And where I am now, it's a very comfortable space because now it's been 4 years. I'm by myself. I do things by myself. I enjoy my kids. I'm actually enjoying my kids right now. Where it comes to the space where they even say to me, hey, mama, the day you decide to have somebody, please make sure you bring that person so that we can scan it. Because you have proven or we're not making choices. You know. So we are at that stage where I know that my kids are comfortable that should I decide to have Uncle so in my life, there was gonna be that warmth and that welcoming. Because
are they welcoming? I mean, my assumption is that your ex is moved on. He's got somebody in his life, and the relationship with the kids.
I haven't had any bad ills between or anything. My kids haven't come back home feeling like how could you know?
So do you then think that your ex is also managing that with his partner to say, these are my kids, you know, you will respect each other, that you are also saying the kids must respect. So is that's
knowing him, you don't mess with his kids. Knowing him, you might mess with me, but don't mess with his kids.
And your relationship with, I mean, do you have any? Do you even know each other? How do you guys?
No, I cannot say. And I think it's none of my business.
I guess there's no need in any case.
For what? My kids are older. You know, I don't have toddlers. I don't have I need to get
You need
involved.
to drop off.
No. If I need to drop off, if he says my son drives, I don't need to be there. So
for sure,
it's like that. And I know it might sound very easy, but it was not like that. One of us had to humble. I had to humble myself. There were times where I felt like, you know what, I can pick up this call and tell this dude how I feel. But I had to say, Catherine, you've got 3 kids.
So going back to that point, right? What are the support structures that you think are relevant for women that find themselves in the position that you found yourself in? You know, to support you to get through to a point where you manage your feelings, your emotions to a point where you understand that this is about the kids now. The only relationship I have with this person is just about the kids. Because you keep saying that it wasn't easy. And you're doing it so well today in terms of co-parenting. What is critical around the support structure?
I think, Penny, I read a lot. There's one book that my friend bought for me. It's by T.D. Jakes. Women, Thou Art Loose. And that book helped me. It says T.D. Jakes and Sarita James speaks to women. He addresses different sections. And what I can say is that surround yourself with positive people. Because sometimes we surround ourselves with those that agree with us, our friends that agree with us, who feel like, yes, you've got a right to behave in this manner. Yes, you've got a right
You've
to
got
be
a right
angry.
to keep him away from the kids.
You've got a right to be
Yeah,
angry.
we are
You've got a
fine.
right
Yeah, it
to
doesn't
be
support the children.
And another thing is that I'm very fortunate. I ask guys, whenever things are not going the way I go to dudes and say, guys, what is your thinking? Like, when he did this, what was going through his mind? And then your guy friends will be like, eish. And then they start advising you.
Then they give you a different perspective.
Every time I try to get into his head, when he behaves in a certain manner, what is going through? Because remember, I'm a woman. All I think about, I'm thinking from the woman's point. How could you do that? How could you? But remember, that's me, a woman who say, how could you? But with him, it's a different story altogether. So I try to get advice from people that have been in his situation. I try to put myself in his situation, and that's what I did from the beginning. I said to myself, with you had accepted, or maybe this thing is not working out. There was a denial stage, there was this. But probably he's going through his stages as well. Maybe this man still wanted this marriage. Maybe you still, as much as you've got your feelings towards him, girl, he is no longer there. You learn to accept. It is hard. It is very hard to accept that my 17 years is gone. But what I do is that I don't concentrate on the bad experiences. I always say within the 17 years, it's not like the guy was bad. I always tell people I had the best 10 years of my marriage. I learned a lot from this man. He's a traveler. I was not a traveler. We would travel. I've learned so much from him. Music. My kids are so musical because of him. And a lot of things that I have learned, to be able to speak up, to be able to stand for what I believe. Remember, he has been that guy. He has been that guy. So he was not altogether bad. So if I'm going to concentrate on the bad things, then I'm going to feel like it was a waste. So it was not a waste. So all I'm saying to my sisters is that, acceptance. Accept this thing is not working. Saying, I did this for him, I did that. You did things for each other. You didn't. I think the problem that we've got as women is to say, I made him. You didn't make anyone. There is no woman who makes a man. There is no man who makes a woman. Because as much as I can give you the tools, if you're not going to use them, they are useless.
Yeah.
But a decision was made by that person to say that, I've got these tools, I will do that. And if along the way, yes, you might have, maybe when you found him, he was down there, and along the way he got there, and then you thought, now this woman has come. It's not even the woman's problem. This is the man that you said for better, for worse, or whatever it is, but it didn't work out. So deal with the feelings to say that it did not work out.
The intention was great.
The intention was great.
But it just didn't pan out.
But it's not working out. It's not working out. So you holding on and being a drama queen and barking, withholding your kids, you are not helping the process. You are hurting your kids in the process. So all I can say is that when it comes to co-parenting, whether being it after divorce or after a long-term relationship that did not work out, or a short-term relationship that did not work out,
or no relationship at all. There's people that hook up, people get pregnant, hey, then we must co-parent.
Relationship whatsoever. The child is the main focus.
Sure.
How you feel, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to you.
As easy as that sounds, I can imagine how difficult it is, which is why we're actually having this conversation, because there's a need for us to talk about this co-parenting thing. It is a problem. Many men do not get to see their children because the relationship didn't work.
Having said that, when I recently met up with the father of my kids, he was saying, actually, I thank God and to say, I've got an opportunity to see my kids, because most men don't get to see their children.
They don't get to see their kids,
And I was like, dude, I'm a woman. I know how to be a mother. I do not know how to be a father. And I don't want you to ever put me in a position of becoming a father. As long as you're still breathing,
be the father.
Be the father.
Yeah.
Even if another man comes into my life,
he will not
is my
be
partner.
the father.
He is my partner.
Yes.
He is not the father to your kids.
Yes.
If another woman comes into your life, she is not a mom to my kids. She is your person. And the minute we can start realizing that no matter where we go in our life, when it comes to co-parenting, it's about the child. It's not about you and me. We are done. You and I might have failed each other, but we cannot fail our kids. And I think that's where we as women get it wrong, where we use our kids to be, we dangle them.
Yeah.
We dangle them. And that's why today we've got...
It's a ransom.
Yeah. That's why today we've got kids that are very angry. And you don't tell them the truth as a mom that actually your dad did not see you because I withheld you from No. If anything, we call them names, we call them anything, we call them whatever. And then at their age where they now go question their parents, their dad, like, Daddy, why didn't you want me? Their dad is like, I never said I don't want you, but your mom prevented me from seeing you. Now you've got all this family thing, TV, family feud. Now you want to those things are so unnecessary.
They are.
To go and look for those things, because if you were fair enough as a mom, and I say this as a mom because we've got so much influence on our kids.
Sure.
We've got, believe me, I don't care what you say. As a mom, if I were to say to those kids that your dad is this and this and this, believe me, they're going to look at him like, you are like this and this and this.
Until at some point, obviously they get older, but for the time that they're there, you will influence them against their father.
So all I'm saying is to say, you know what, co-parenting, it is not easy at the beginning, but once you both find a common ground and say, why are we still talking? The reason why we are still talking is because of the
this
kids.
business that we need to take care of.
If these kids were not here,
we would not
be talking. No, why should I have a meeting with you? And you realize that, like I say, my son is turning 24. He might come next year and say, Mommy, I want to get married. I cannot run that process by myself. I need to go back to Daddy and say, Daddy,
your son wants to get married.
Or people say they want to marry my daughter.
Yeah.
I need to go back to Daddy, and I should be in that position to speak to Daddy, to involve him, than him seeing it on Facebook like they normally do. Hey, your child got married, or you get a congratulations, your daughter is married, and you don't even know about it. And I don't want to deprive my kids an opportunity of having a dad.
Wow.
No. They have such a beautiful relationship with him, and because of that, you see them progressing with their schoolwork. You see them progressing.
They're happy children.
They're happy children. They are very happy. And a happy child, I'm a happy mom.
Yeah.
You know, I tell them, I remember a good friend of mine told me, I said, how do you navigate? He's a guy. How do you navigate this one weekend? He said, Cathy, I'm going to give you an advice.
Yeah.
When the kids are there, it's mom's weekend. It's mommy's weekend. They are with you. You do things with them. He says, I want you to now on start having mom's weekend. So whenever it's a weekend that they are not there, it's my weekend.
What all again?
I get you.
Not yet.
Not yet. You know, just now my kids are like, why don't we know about it? but whenever it's
time for you.
Like,
it's time
you see,
for Cathy.
It happened that Daddy is not feeling very well, and they were like, Mommy, Daddy said he picks us up next week. And my little one said, Mommy, where are you going? Like, hey, let me remind you. You are not here this weekend.
So I can go and do my things.
So navigate yourself and make yourself comfortable. Netflix all you want. This is my weekend. And this is the weekend where I'll go out with my girls, or go out with whoever.
Or go visit friends.
We do this thing. You know, it becomes about me. Or sometimes I tell you that I'm not home. Well, I'm a reader. My friends tell me that Cathy will get to a restaurant early just to have 30 minutes of herself to read. And to read, you know. Wow. Sometimes I tell you that, yo, girl, my weekend is busy.
There's a
book. So once he said that to me, it made my life so much easier to know that my weekends with them is my weekends with them. But when it's my weekend, it's all about me. Let me do things that I love. Let me do, sometimes even when somebody says, can you MC an event? Can you please come talk at my event? I look at the dates and I'm like, it's cool. I'm going to look good. It's my weekend.
Yes.
And if it's their weekend, I will even talk to them and say, look, I know it's our weekend. I've got this. And like, no, man, we are cool. So the most important thing is for you to have an open relationship and communication with your kids. And I remember you were asking me, so when do you think is the right time to introduce a guy to your kids?
Yes.
I personally feel before catch any feelings, your kids must see this guy.
They must scan this guy.
They must scan this guy.
Yeah.
Don't catch feelings, and then when they don't like this guy, now you wanna.
Now you have attachment issues.
Yeah, attachment
Yeah,
issues. No. Bon, has it when our uncle, mamang, okari, or now and then, and all of that.
But what happens if you actually do like the guy and your kids don't? Well, your kids don't like the partner. How would you navigate that?
One thing for sure is that, remember, I think the problem that we're trying to do, we're trying to force these people into our kids' life.
Right.
When you saw this guy at first, you didn't like him. So you bring him to your house, and then now all of a sudden, it must be love at first sight.
What a validation.
It must be love at first sight. It's up to him. You know, I remember I was emceeing one event, and the lady was talking about that for years. Kids never called this man daddy or called him whatever. And there was no that affectionate relationship. But because of with time, they warmed up. And this man did not force himself on them. He would be there.
It's a process.
It's a process. And he said one time, it was Father's Day. These kids have put this man on their social media. Say, happy Father's Day, Daddy, happy this. So it is a process.
Yeah.
As much as it is a process for you to get to know this guy, to get to like this guy.
It's a process for them as well.
For them. So don't come and force this stranger.
Uncle
Mama now.
Yeah.
No, and don't force him to like your kids as well.
Yeah.
Struggle like even our own families.
So
like,
why you forcing someone?
I don't like it,
Yeah.
but she's family. So you do not force people into your child's life.
Yeah.
Let it be something that it gradually. And another thing is that if I always tell people, bring your own baby. I don't make babies anymore. B.O.B.
Bring
Bring your own babies at my age. So as a woman, see how this man has got a relationship with his own kids.
Yes.
The relationship that he has with his own kids, it will tell you how is it going to happen. You know, because now this man doesn't even have a relationship with his kids. This man doesn't even know how to navigate. Navigate with your kids. As much as only the butterfly, whatever, relax a bit.
Yes,
and that's what I'm saying. And to my sisters, like, find yourself first.
Yeah.
You know, I always say a 22-year-old Catherine is not the same as a 44-year-old Catherine.
Of course.
I know what I want.
Right.
I know what makes me happy. I know my boundaries. I know my values. I know all of those things.
Wow.
And I'm not just going to jump into a relationship because I'm lonely. It gets lonely. It does get lonely. Like at times, like, oh, I'm thinking, maybe I can grab a whole Does
it get lonely from a conversation or does it get lonely from a physical?
Everywhere.
All right.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere. For so many years, you were physical. And then now, boom, men switch off.
You wish you could just buy it, right? If you could.
Listen, like, what happened?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So it gets that, but then you need to find coping mechanisms to say, whenever it's from the physical side of things, what do I do? I remember I asked a friend of mine, how do you do it?
Yeah.
I like, exercise, girl. Exercise, like.
Well, there's others. I mean, I plan to do a few topics around, you know, those type of things. So, you know, we can learn a few things there.
Exactly. I will definitely check it out. But it was like, you find a way and distract yourself.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you know that it gets lonely, like, friend, are you available? Come, let's go out for coffee. Let's go out. Don't put yourself in situations where hey, let's stress because of
because
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you don't force these people into your kids' life.
Yeah.
You don't force yourself even in your partner's kids' life and all of that. And who said okay, as a get together.
You know what I mean?
You know, so basically things will happen as they come.
Yeah.
But personally, I feel like if you get to the point where you feel like, a bit by bit, let your kids know that there is whatever, and have those and you will know when your kids are ready.
Yeah.
Like now, I know they tease me. You know,
it's about time.
They tease me, but hey, before you please bring that person. And my son will always say, "Hey, mama, anybody who comes into your life, it must be about the soft life, eh? You can, you know." No. Anything. We've done that tutoring.
Yes.
So he always they tease me in that way and everything and all of that. So it's a topic that you now and then you drop it. It doesn't become an everyday thing.
Correct.
But then you will know when your kids are ready to receive somebody else in your life. But I wouldn't say do it too soon, because we don't know how kids progress, especially with divorce.
Well, I guess parents
It
are
depends,
different.
yeah,
It depends on your kids.
on the kids,
Some
and-
will probably move on quickly. Some
And
will
if the
take long.
kids are very young, maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
They don't. But when they are teenagers, you're still dealing with. It's a bit of a.
Yeah.
But it depends. Have that conversation with your kids. Gauge them. You know, I always say I gauge their maturity. I will say a certain topic, and a certain answer will let me know that now we can have a certain conversation. So it's a matter of make sure that your kids, in the midst of all of this, they don't become outsiders. They must be included, and they must feel included, and they must feel
They're
loved
part of the process
by both parents,
Yes,
and both parents give them love. Even when it comes to birthdays, believe you me, we were celebrating my daughter's birthday. If you are somebody else who doesn't know, you'll still think this is a whole
an entire family.
It's an entire
there's
family.
No divorce
There's
here.
no divorce, because when it comes to our kids, we put them first. It's all about them. It's all about their happiness. And once we've decided to do that, believe in me, my ex and I are able to navigate things around. We're not best of friends, and we're not intending to be
but
best
you are
of friends.
functional to what you need to deliver to.
Exactly.
Wow. Kathy Mpirima, thank you so much for this conversation. I definitely think that you're one of the few, and I hope everybody else is encouraged by your words. I think what you're saying is, you're saying it very simple, and you're saying it, very lightly. But I understand that it's not easy. I understand that you didn't just get to where you are by just saying it, So it took a lot of work in yourself. You speak a lot about understanding who you are. You speak a lot about focusing on the goal at hand, which is the children. Thank you so much for sharing a part of you with Hot Seat with Penzola. It really, really means a lot to us.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Guys, thank you so much for sitting with us through that conversation. I really think that this is a conversation that, as South Africans and as women, we need to be having. Cathy speaks to one thing. It is about the kids. It is not about the parents, especially when you've decided as adults that you want to separate. Focus on the job at hand. The job at hand is the kids. And any decision that you make has got to be better and for the kids. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. If you do have a question for Cathy, you're more than welcome to drop a comment. I will share her details where you can catch her as well. But if you have a question, drop it on the comments. I will ask her to respond to your questions. So Cathy, promise me that you will respond to some of the questions.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much. It's been a real thing, guys. Cheers.